It was just past midnight when Dr. Maya Thompson finally got into her car after a grueling 16-hour shift. Her body was exhausted, every muscle aching, but her mind was still racing. She was a doctor, a healer, a mother, someone who saved lives every day. Two little kids were waiting for her at home. She thought about them as she started the engine, the only thing keeping her going through this long night. The city streets were quiet, empty for once. Maya drove carefully, her eyes heavy but alert. She wasn't speeding, not even close. Just a few miles per hour over the limit, maybe, but nothing dangerous. Her thoughts drifted to the patients she had helped, the ones she couldn't save. The weight of it all sat heavily on her chest. Suddenly, flashing blue lights appeared in her rearview mirror. Her heart jumped. Confused, she glanced down at her speedometer. No reason for this. She wasn't breaking any rules. Not tonight. The lights grew brighter, and the siren softly wailed behind her. Maya pulled over, her hands trembling slightly on the steering wheel. A strange knot tightened in her stomach. From the very first second, she felt something was wrong. She tried to shake off the feeling. Maybe it was just a routine stop, someone else had to deal with something, and she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But her gut told her otherwise. As the officer's car slowed behind her, Maya's mind raced. What did she do? Was it a mistake? Was there some kind of mix-up? The silence inside her car felt heavy, almost suffocating. The night was cold and still outside, but inside, a storm was beginning to brew. This was supposed to be the end of a long, hard day, a night to finally rest and go home. Instead, it was the start of something Maya could never have imagined, something that would shake her world. The officer's footsteps were heavy and slow as he approached Maya's car. She rolled down the window, trying to steady her breathing. Her heart was pounding in her ears. "License and registration," he said sharply, without even a greeting. Maya reached into her purse and handed over the documents, her hands still shaking. "Is there a problem, officer?" she asked, trying to keep her voice calm and steady. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he stared at her with a hard look that made her stomach churn. "You were swerving back there," he said finally, voice low and accusing. Maya blinked. Swerving? That wasn't possible. She had been careful, every movement measured, every turn slow and steady. "No, I wasn't," she replied, surprise creeping into her voice. "I'm a doctor. I just finished a long shift. I was heading straight home." The officer's eyes narrowed. "A doctor, huh? Doesn't mean you get to break the rules." She bit her lip. "I wasn't breaking any rules." He scoffed like he didn't believe a word she said. "You think you're better than me, don't you? Just because you wear a white coat?" Maya's throat tightened. She didn't want trouble. She just wanted to get home to her kids. "Please, officer, I'm tired, I just want to go home." But he wasn't listening. "Step out of the car." The command came suddenly, harsh and unexpected. Her hands were trembling now as she unbuckled her seatbelt. She opened the door slowly, the cold night air hitting her face. Her heart raced as she stood beside the car, under the glare of the street light. The officer didn't look at her. Instead, he kept scanning the area, then turned back to her with a suspicious look. "Have you been drinking tonight?" he asked, voice sharp. "No," Maya said firmly. "I don't drink before work. I've been at the hospital all day." He didn't believe her. His eyes flicked to the small bottle of water in her cup holder, untouched. "I'm going to have to run some tests," he said. Before she could protest, he was pulling out his radio, calling for backup. Maya felt a cold wave of fear wash over her. What was happening? Why was this happening? Other cars slowed down nearby. Heads turned. She felt their eyes on her, judging, curious, some suspicious. Her cheeks burned with humiliation. She was a respected doctor, a mother, someone who saved lives, and here she was, standing on the side of the road, treated like a criminal. She swallowed hard, trying to hold back tears. The officer's tone grew colder. "Put your hands behind your back." She obeyed, her fingers trembling as the cold metal of the handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Her world was spinning. This was not how her night was supposed to end, and deep down she knew the worst was still to come. Maya's hands were cuffed behind her back, cold and numb. She stood frozen for a moment, struggling to make sense of what was happening. How could this be real? She hadn't done anything wrong. Not speeding. Not drinking. Nothing. The officer glanced around, then motioned toward the squad car. "Get in." Her legs felt heavy, like they didn't belong to her. She climbed in slowly, the seat cold against her back. The metal cuffs bit into her wrists every time she moved. Her phone was still sitting on the front seat, just out of reach. She tried to reach for it, but the cuffs made it impossible. "Why are you doing this?" she asked quietly, hoping for some kind of answer. The officer ignored her. Instead, he radioed in again, his voice clipped and tense. Within minutes, another squad car pulled up, its lights flashing silently. Two more officers stepped out, faces unreadable. Maya's heart pounded louder. She felt like she was trapped in a nightmare. One of the new officers, a young woman, looked at Maya with something close to sympathy. But she said nothing. Back at the station, Maya was led into a small sterile room. The air smelled cold and harsh. They began questioning her. The same questions, over and over. "Have you been drinking? Did you take any drugs? Why do you think you were pulled over?" Maya kept answering honestly. "I don't know, I wasn't speeding. I wasn't swerving. I've been working all day." The first officer kept watching her, eyes hard and unblinking. He contradicted himself, changing his story about why he pulled her over. Maya's frustration grew, but she tried to stay calm. After what felt like hours, the door opened again. The young female officer stepped in, her eyes flicking nervously between Maya and the others. As the officers left the room, the young woman stayed behind. She handed Maya a small piece of paper. "Request the dashcam footage," she whispered. "It's there. It'll show everything." Maya looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" The young officer shook her head. "You deserve the truth." Before Maya could say more, the door opened and the others called her back. Left alone, Maya folded the paper tightly in her palm. For the first time since this nightmare began, she felt a flicker of hope. Maybe there was a way to prove what really happened. Back in the interrogation room, Maya sat alone, her hands cuffed but her mind racing. The sterile walls felt like they were closing in on her. She kept turning the small piece of paper over and over in her hand, the young officer's words echoing in her mind. "Request the dashcam footage. It's there. It'll show everything." But how? She was just a doctor, not someone who knew the legal ropes. And the last thing she wanted was more trouble. After a while, the door creaked open again. The young female officer stepped inside quietly. Her name tag read, Officer Sarah Mills. She looked tired, like she had seen too much herself. "Hey," Sarah said softly, pulling up a chair beside Maya. "I know this is hard, but you need to fight this. You don't deserve what's happening." Maya's voice cracked a little. "But what can I do? The officer, he's the one with the badge. Who's going to believe me?" Sarah sighed. "That's why you need the footage. The dash cam, the body cam, they don't lie. If you have it, you have proof. And once you have proof, you have power." Maya nodded slowly. "But how do I get it?" Sarah hesitated, looking around nervously. "Official channels can take forever, and sometimes they don't want to release it." She leaned in a little closer. "I can help. I can make sure you get it. But you have to promise me you'll use it wisely." Maya's heart pounded. Here was someone inside the system, offering a lifeline. "I promise," she whispered. Sarah smiled faintly, a mix of relief and sadness in her eyes. "Good. Because you're not alone in this." After a few more minutes, Sarah left the room, leaving Maya with a newfound sense of hope and determination. Later that night, as Maya sat in a small waiting area, she thought about the day's events. How quickly her life had turned upside down. How helpless she had felt. But now, something was different. Somewhere hidden in the cold flashing lights of that police car was the truth, and she was going to find it. When Maya was finally released a few hours later, the cold night air hit her like a slap. No charges had been filed for now, but the damage was already done. She was shaken, humiliated, and exhausted beyond words. But somewhere deep inside, a fire had started to burn. She refused to let this go. The next morning, she called a lawyer, someone experienced with cases like hers. She explained everything: the random stop, the baseless accusations, the handcuffs, and most importantly, the officer's refusal to explain why she was pulled over. Her lawyer listened carefully. "You did the right thing by asking for the footage. That's your best chance to clear your name." Together, they filed formal requests for the dashcam and body cam footage from the police department. They also asked for her car's GPS data to confirm her exact driving route and speed. Days passed, but nothing came. The department was slow to respond. Her lawyer warned her that sometimes police departments try to bury footage or delay releasing it. Maya felt frustrated, but stayed patient. She knew this was just the beginning. In the meantime, she reviewed everything she could remember from that night. Her route home was clear. There was no swerving, no reckless driving, nothing that should have triggered a stop. Her lawyer also reached out to the young officer Sarah, who had helped her. Sarah reassured Maya that the footage was there, and it would speak for itself. Then, one afternoon, the lawyer called with news. "We got the footage. It's worse than you thought." Maya's stomach dropped, but she was ready. They sat together and watched the videos. First, the dash cam from the patrol car. The footage showed Maya driving carefully, her hands steady on the wheel, staying perfectly in her lane. The officer followed for several minutes with no reason to stop her. Then, without warning, he flicked on the flashing lights. When he approached her car, his body cam captured him muttering insults under his breath, calling her a mouthy doctor, and saying she thought she was better than him. Maya's heart ached. He lied in his report, but the camera caught everything. This evidence was her lifeline. She knew what she had to do. She was no longer just a victim. She was ready to fight. Watching the dash cam footage felt like reliving a nightmare, but with the truth finally shining through the darkness. Every detail was there, clear, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. Maya saw herself driving home, calm and steady, just as she remembered. The streets were quiet, and her hands rested lightly on the steering wheel. Not once did she swerve or speed. Then, the officer's car appeared behind her, following without reason. For several minutes, nothing happened. No traffic violations, no erratic driving. Suddenly, without warning, the officer switched on his flashing lights. The screen showed Maya's startled reaction, confused and cautious. The moment he stepped out of his car, the body cam caught him muttering under his breath. "She thinks she's better than me," the officer said quietly but clearly. His eyes darted around, scanning the area as if looking for an excuse. Then came the most shocking part. The officer's own voice, caught on camera, mocking Maya, calling her that mouthy doctor. His tone was filled with contempt. He wasn't just stopping her for a random reason. This was personal. Maya's heart sank. She had hoped for justice. Instead, she found proof of something deeper: a bias, a grudge, an abuse of power. The lawyer and Maya watched the footage again and again, each time uncovering more of the officer's lies. His official report didn't match a single second of what the cameras showed. The young officer Sarah had been right. The footage was the key. But it wasn't just about clearing Maya's name anymore. It was about holding someone accountable. Maya's lawyer contacted the Internal Affairs Division immediately. The footage was undeniable. The department tried to delay the investigation. They claimed technical issues, missing files, or pending reviews. But the pressure was mounting. Then, unexpectedly, the young officer who had helped Maya took a risk. Sarah anonymously leaked the footage online. Within hours, the video went viral. People were shocked and outraged. Comments poured in, calling for justice. The officer's actions were exposed for the world to see. Within days, he was suspended. The investigation quickly turned into a full disciplinary hearing. Maya felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. The man who had humiliated her was losing his career. But the damage he caused ran deeper than just one night. Still, Maya knew this was just the beginning of change. The police department announced new policies for dashcam usage, stricter oversight, and mandatory transparency. Her fight had sparked something bigger, and it all started with a single unexpected moment. After the dashcam footage went public, everything changed fast. The police department couldn't ignore the overwhelming evidence, or the growing public outrage. Maya's lawyer worked closely with Internal Affairs, making sure every detail was documented. The officer was officially suspended while the investigation went on. The department faced intense pressure from the community, the media, and even other officers demanding accountability. Maya received messages of support from strangers, fellow doctors, and people who had faced similar experiences. She wasn't alone anymore. Eventually, the officer was fired. His record was permanently stained, and his career was over. But Maya didn't want revenge. She wanted truth and fairness for herself and for anyone else who might face what she did. She filed a civil lawsuit to hold the department accountable, not just for what happened to her, but to push for real change. The department agreed to review and improve policies about traffic stops and dashcam transparency. Maya became a quiet but powerful voice, speaking out about the importance of standing up, of demanding proof, and never letting fear silence you. The scars from that night remained. She still felt a flicker of fear whenever she saw flashing lights, but she also carried strength. She returned to work, to her family, to the life she loved, but she was forever changed. No longer just a doctor, she was a survivor, a fighter. And her story became a beacon for others who felt powerless. Looking back, Maya knows that night could have ended very differently. It could have broken her, but instead it made her stronger. It showed her the power of truth, and the importance of standing up when things feel unfair. The dashcam footage didn't just clear her name, it exposed the cracks in a system that sometimes forgets the people it's supposed to protect. Her story is a reminder, no matter who you are, no matter how tired or vulnerable you feel, your voice matters, your truth matters. And sometimes it's the smallest moments, the flash of blue lights, the quiet courage to ask for proof, that change everything. Maya still drives carefully, still watches for those flashing lights, but now she knows she has the strength to face whatever comes next. If you ever find yourself in a situation like hers, remember, you have rights, you have power. Don't be afraid to stand up and speak out, because justice isn't just a word, it's something we fight for every single day. If you found Maya's story powerful, please like this video. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences or what you think about this story. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that matter, and share this video to help others know their rights too. Thank you for watching.